Today we will see how to create an EC2 instance. So to create an EC2 instance, first we have to create a security group and assign some inbound rules, and then we have to create key pair, and using these two we can create an EC2 instance. So let us go to console and start creating security group. So security group is the one where we will define the inbound rule, what traffic from which source is actually allowed, and when we attach the security group to the instance, this will control the traffic. So the rules will be that are defined in the security group are going to control the traffic to your EC2 instance. And key pair is the one. It is the .pem format or .ppk format that you can generate, and that will be used if you have to connect to this EC2 instance using SSH. Okay, so if you are using Linux and you want to connect using PuTTY, or if you want to transfer some files using WinSCP, this key pair file is the one which you have to use. Okay, so let us go to console and we'll start with the security group first. Okay, so when you go to EC2, then you will have under network and security, you have security groups. Just click on it. I have two security groups already, so I just create a new one. Okay, you just have to give some name to it. Say, so this we are using creating it from console, right? So I just say console sec group. Okay, so that's the name that I've given, and it is just allows, yeah, allows SSH, and let's say we're going to allow HTTP traffic also. Yeah, just a brief description. I mean, you can give other information also. And so this is where you have to define the inbound rules that I was mentioning. So the VPC by default, whatever is there, you just select the same, no need to make any changes. Inbound rules are the ones which will let you know like what traffic is going to be allowed when the security group is attached. So when you click on add rule, so it says which kind of protocol you are going to allow. Suppose if you have to allow SSH, by default the port is 22, and this is from which IP addresses. So you can mention your custom IP address range here, or you can also mention anywhere from this IP4. So I'm just selecting anywhere, so that's where you see all zeros, which means any IP address of this IPv4 type can access this port. Okay, you can connect once the security group is attached to an EC2 instance. And I will also allow HTTP traffic, which is 80 port by default, and this is also from anywhere for now. I will not touch any outbound rules, so by default it is traffic is allowed to any other IP address. So I'll just create this security group. Okay, the security group is created. This is the one. Okay, now we create a security group and we added inbound rules also. Let us go to again network and security, and let us create a key pair. So this is nothing to do with any EC2 instance. Actually, key pair, you just create one key pair first, and then while defining EC2 instance you use this, you mention that you are going to use this key pair. So first you just click on this key pair. I already have 3 of my key pairs, but I'm just creating it just to explain how this can be done. So you just give say this is also console key pair. Okay, so this is where you just have to mention RSA. In case if you mention this, you will not be able to use it for Windows. This is only used for Linux and Mac. You can just check here. Okay, and so this is what we can use .ppk file for using. So you will test it with PuTTY, and WinSCP as well. So let us go with .ppk file generation, file format private key. So just click on create key pair, very simple. So it creates it and it downloads the file automatically. So the console key pair is actually created. Okay, so this is the key pair that I created. So now we have security group and now we also have key pair. Let us go to EC2 and you can just click on launch instance and let us see first how many instances running. It already have 0 count. So from here also you can just click on launch instance. Okay, so you just mention uh, instance from console, which is just created from console, I mean to say. So here you just have to select which Amazon machine image, basically whether you want Linux, Windows, Ubuntu, etc. So you can even browse for more, but these are the default kind of things, and this is also eligible for free tier. This may change time to time, but so today when I'm recording this is the one which is Amazon's Linux, so I'm just selecting it. It's by default, not making any changes to this. So this instance type is the one T2.micro is free tier eligible. This type means this gives information, or this will give us an option to select the configuration. Basically is kind of what how many CPUs you need and how much of RAM you require. So based on your requirement, based on the allocation of this memory and CPU, you will be charged accordingly. Okay, so there are various types here, C series, G series, D series, etc. You can just look at it later, and you can also compare. Maybe in AWS documentation you can do that, but I'm just going with the free tier eligible, which is just giving me 1 GB memory and 1 vCPU. Okay, so now coming down to this key pair, this is where which we created console key pair. So I'm going to use this, which means that once this EC2 instance is up and running, I can use this key pair to connect to it. So coming to network settings, auto assign public IP should be enabled so that we will get that public IP of our EC2 instance. So VPC subnet will be selected by default, whatever they are for this availability zone. So this is where the security group that we created. So instead of creating a new one again and depending on the routes which we just created, so just select this existing security group and select this console sec group. uh, yeah, so here the storage volume will be attached to my EC2 instance by default. So it's a 8 GB of memory it is allocating. Yeah, so you're done with all your basic configuration. So you selected security group and you also select the key pair whatever you created. So just create and launch instance now. Okay, now go back to instances. It will be in pending status. So ignore the three which are in terminated status because they were earlier created and just I deleted them. So just only look for this instance from console. So just refresh it. It is already in running status. So if you want to filter it, you just click on done. So this is in running status. Even the status check will be done, which will give 2x2 health checks completed kind of information. So if you just refresh after some time, it will be updated. Now you just select this instance. So you will have all this information. What is your instance ID, public IP address, private IP address, and this one DNS, what is the state, etc. So you just select this public DNS. Okay. Now you go to booting. So you have to connect, if it is Linux, you have to connect with EC2 user. Right. your DNS name. This is SSH and 22 is the port number. So now authentication, you can go to SSH and click on auth, expand it, credentials, browse the permit key. This is the console key pair which we just created, right? So I'm just selecting the same. Just click on accept for the first time. Asks you, okay, so you are connected to the EC2 instance which is created. You can then check some commands like what is the path, where exactly we are, etc. Okay, so we are successful. How this is done? Because we enabled that SSH traffic in the security group, and that is attached to our EC2 instance. So suppose if we did not enable that, then we will not be able to connect to this EC2 instance, okay, using putty. Now even you can do some file transfer also. Let me just check. You should be able to using WinSCP also, because it's the same protocol and same username, same thing. You can just use. So let me just make a new connection. So I'm just removing this. I'm just pasting a new host name. What is my file? I'll just click on advanced. Okay, it's taking time. Yeah. Okay, now click on authentication. So here, select that latest file, console keypad, right? Console keypad. Now click on OK. Click on save. Click on login. This time yes. Yeah. So you're connected to it. So now if you go to any, suppose say I will go to my desktop and probably I will just upload one file to it. Okay. Okay, I've uploaded. Let me just check from EC2 if I got it or not. So I just simply okay, here you can see only aws.txt is there. Suppose if you upload something else, album. So, okay, here now if you type the same thing, should be seeing both. Okay, so you are able to connect to it using that WinSCP and putty, because the 22 port is enabled for SSH. Okay, so this is how the EC2 instance will be created using console. The same thing we can do it programmatically with Java. So we will see that in our next video. Thank you.